right, our next speaker is a medical professional who doesn't agree with what's going on. My good friend, Dr. Jason Kinley. Let's give a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Dr. Jason Kinley. I am a primary care naturopathic physician. Since the stay home, stay healthy order has been put in place, we've traded one problem and created countless others. Said a different way, we have suppressed life to prevent illness, but in so doing tragically created additional health problems. Suicides are up, and according to the Oregonian, they are up 20% alone in Portland. Unfortunately, it's not limited to just Portland. In the Board of Health meeting that I am on yesterday, we talked about this. We don't have a concrete plan to address it. We have a person that gave a speech on it and said these are some things that we can do, and they're going to move the suicide hotline number to the front of the website. Right now, that's not acceptable. Governor Inslee put out an infographic recently that said vaccines and widespread treatment are required to reopen the economy. We don't have an accepted treatment. It's a virus. Look at any other virus out there. There is no widely accepted treatment. But you know what we did get? From our government, we're supposedly looking to those abroad. Well, guess what they did in China? Once they figured this out, they started to use IV vitamin C. A couple of hospitals in the U.S. have done it. But I asked this question yesterday. There has been no discussion at the Board of Health at the state level to bring that to the hospitals here. Let me tell you the cost. It's estimated $15 a day per patient. Okay? Now, is it curative? No. But it has proved to be, so far in the literature, very promising. Hydroxychloroquine, another medication that people are saying, it's good for you. No, it's not. You know why it's not good? The studies that said it was a problem, the dosing was over the limit. If you take a medication, I don't care what it is, and push the dose too high, you're going to kill somebody. Trying. Usually I don't write my speeches. Usually I just roll them off the tongue.
McDonald's gonna kill you faster.
The rate of mortality is currently unknown. We hear high numbers, we hear low numbers, and here's why we don't know. We missed the testing window because we didn't have enough supplies. I have had several patients that fit all the criteria for COVID-19 walk through my office door, and I treated every single one of them. And here's the problem. They didn't meet the criteria to get tested. So if they had the virus and were positive, we will never know if they are in the "we survived COVID" camp.
Right.
Now, we've got antibody testing, and I asked about this. Here's the problem with antibody testing. It's been FDA fast-tracked, but not FDA approved. So that means we can't use it. And your insurance isn't going to necessarily pay for it. The cost on that test is anywhere between $100 to $300 is what I've seen as a practitioner. And they want me to pay for the test so that I can test you to see if you had a virus. That doesn't make any sense. That means I have to go through contact tracing. Contact tracing is a whole other problem. If you haven't heard about this, they're trying to use your smartphones in order to determine who has come in contact with a COVID-19 person that was positive. Okay? So then all of us, it's supposedly going to be voluntary to start with, but based on what I'm hearing, it's not going to stay that way. As a physician, that steps in between me and my patient's relationships, and I am not okay with that invasion of privacy. They say that we are following science, but the CDC and the WHO do not even agree on face mask usage. Just today I looked up the WHO's website, and you know what they say for face masks? If you are caring for a person with COVID. Not in general, not when you're out shopping in the grocery store, if you are caring for a patient with COVID. 97% of particulates get through your homemade masks. That's what the literature is currently showing. But that's what we're advocating, is to make your own mask. The only way to increase the effectiveness of those masks are to wear filters. But how many people put the filter in and then know how to take the mask off without contaminating everything they touch? Not many. I can't tell you how many times I have been out for essential supplies and watched people touch their face and then touch the products on the shelf because they're adjusting their mask. We are not reducing the spread by wearing these masks. It's only to allow somebody else to feel like they're safe. That means we're living in fear. Living in fear is not living, it's surviving. If you look at medical physiology textbooks, when it talks about stress and what it does to the human body, it shifts your physiology. Those under high stress environments become ill at a higher rate than those that are at a low stress situation. We are increasing the risk for disease of all kinds by what we're doing. Yep. Governor Inslee is going to increase that risk because just a few moments ago I got a text from a colleague of mine. Inslee's extended our stay home order until the 31st of May. He is then going to roll out reopening in 3 phases at 3 weeks per phase, or I'm sorry, maybe 4 phases. I have patients that fit the critically ill category. They are high-risk patients, and I've had the one-on-one conversations because as a physician that is my right and their right, and they are choosing, because it is their free, God-given choice, to come into my office even though they're high risk and they have zero concerns. Now, if you have a concern, great, stay home, you should. That is your choice. But that does not mean it is everybody else's responsibility to make sure that they stay home. I have a lot of children. If they're home sick, they stay home. Nobody else leaves the house because that's what we should be doing anyway. These medical orders are simply there to give you a false sense of security at this point. At this point, the medical decisions you have are between you and your physician, and it needs to stay that way. Next time you go into your doctor, the other problem you're going to experience with a lot of physicians in the medical system is their God. They took God out of the equation, and therefore the system fails. And if you think I'm wrong, look at any other system in the country or the world. As soon as God was removed, the system failed. School, government, medicine, it doesn't matter. You pull him out because it removes the ability for something unknown to happen that we can't possibly explain. Because if it can't happen, then it's not possible. And let me tell you, I've seen patients cured of stuff in my office that there is no earthly explanation for. None. Remember that come November. This government needs to change, and this is your opportunity to give your power back, and not just to you, but to everybody, including the physicians and the patients. Thank you.